guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jazz, your beauty bestie here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Today we have another hair care video. If you haven't already, go check out all the other hair care videos I've made in case I missed something in this video or there's something else you want to know. But today I'm targeting all of my low porosity, wavy, fine, and frizzy haired besties because I know there's so many of us. Every time I post a TikTok, every time I post an Instagram reel, I get tons of DMs, I get tons of questions asking me about my hair, asking me about which products I use, how I do my routine. So today I'm going to answer those questions in this very short video. I'm not going to waste your time today. Again, like I mentioned, I have fine hair, I have low porosity hair, I have frizzy hair, I have wavy hair. It has been a struggle my entire life to figure out how to manage this hair, how to style this hair, and it has grown so long. It is the longest I've ever had it. And yeah, I wasn't blessed with the best hair genes. I don't have thick, long, luscious hair, but I have learned to manage what I do have and love it. So I'm going to teach you some of my routines and tips today. This is going to be divided up into two parts. For part one, I'm going to tell you my 5 rules for low porosity and fine hair, and then in part 2 I'll show you how I style my natural wavy hair, which also tends to be pretty frizzy, and also how I style my hair for when I want to do a blowout or just any heat style in general like I have today. Honestly, I should have worn it wavy just to show you how it looks wavy, but you will see in part 2 how it looks when I wear it just naturally wavy, and honestly it looks so much more voluminous. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna show you, so keep on watching. All right, part 1, 5 rules for low porosity and fine hair. Live by them, breathe by them. Trust me, once you get these 5 rules down and you get a good routine going, as long as you follow the 5 rules, your hair will thank you. You will see a big change with your hair. I used to struggle with my hair literally every single day after hair wash day. I didn't know if it was gonna come out good. One day it'd come out beautiful, the next day it would just be really stringy and it looked way down and it looked really dull. But luckily I don't deal with that anymore because again, I live by these 5 rules. Rule number 1, you want to avoid heavy products and look for only really lightweight and hydrating products. A lot of products nowadays tend to be really thick creams, very heavy hair mass with a lot of protein. That is something that you want to avoid for your hair type, because what you're doing is you're really just suffocating your hair. You're letting all of that heavy cream and hair mass sit on top of your hair. It's really hard to wash it out, and that is why your hair is getting weighed down. That's why it looks oily after 2 days, and that's why it looks really dull. My key to finding lightweight products are usually that if it's in a nozzle that you can spray, or it's very liquidy, including leave-in conditioners, then usually that is a green flag for your hair. I look for products, again, that you can spray. If you have to squeeze it out, make sure it's a consistency that if you put a penny's worth on your hand, it kind of just drips down. You don't want to use anything that if you put a penny's worth, it just sits on your hand, like literal butter. You don't want to use products like that because that tends to be too heavy. And if you insist on using products like that, make sure you're only using a tiny bit amount. It still gives me the benefits without weighing down my hair and making it look super oily or greasy for the next 2 days. Now, rule number 2, you want to use less amount of products and less of each product. So what I mean by that, you've heard the saying, less is more, and I did not believe it back in my day when I was using 5, 6, or 7 products in each hair care routine. Why on earth was I doing that? I have no idea. That was so unnecessary. If you're using literally like 7 products per routine and you're wondering, why does my hair look dull? Why is it getting weighed down? Why does it look greasy? Why? Because you're using way too many products. Now, the key to this is finding products that you can multitask with. For example, instead of going in with tangler and heat protectant and leave-in conditioner and then another oil and then another cream, what you want to do is find one product that does it all, or does at least like 2 things. So I never use a detangler and then a heat protectant. I usually find one product that does both. The Red Can leave-in is my favorite product. I do want to say very quickly, this video is not going to be product focused. I'm going to leave some of my recommendations in the description, but if you want to find out more products that I use or how I use them, definitely check out my other videos, or also go on my TikTok where I've made so many videos about products that I recommend for low porosity and fine hair. Going back to what I was saying, have less steps in your hair care routine. I have 3 to 4 steps in each of my hair care routines, no matter if I'm doing wavy hair or a blowout or I'm heat styling. 3 to 4 products is literally all you need. When it comes to each product, make sure you're also using less of each product. Like I mentioned before, a penny's worth, a dime's worth is really all you need. You don't need a whole like big blob blob of each product, because literally all you're doing is weighing it down. All right guys, rule number 3, this one's really important and I don't ever really see people emphasizing how important this is, so I'm going to emphasize how important it is. Keep your hair clean. Because our hair is structured differently than people with thick and high porosity hair, you cannot get away with washing your hair every 4 or 5 days. If your hair by day 4 or day 3 looks so insanely greasy and weighed down, it is time to wash it. And yes, hair training is a myth. I know some of you are gonna run to the comments and be like, no, but it worked for me. I promise you, it's almost like a placebo effect. Hair training is 100% a myth. I tried for so many years to hair train my hair and not wash it, and I was like, well, the more I don't wash it, the more I can like last with it without getting greasy or whatever. Never worked. So now I wash my hair every 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4 if I'm okay with it looking a little disgusting by day 4. Let's be honest, it starts to look a little gross by day 4. So I wash my hair a lot more often. There are also studies that show that washing your hair more often is way more beneficial for your scalp and also for hair growth, because when you don't wash your hair as often, your hair overproduces sebum, which gets into the follicles and essentially kind of blocks them. I'm saying this in a very like dumb way, but I will show a little bit of the study up here so you can see, but it essentially kind of blocks your hair from growing and it starts to shed more, and that's why you have a lot of hair loss when you don't wash your hair as often. So now that I wash my hair as often, I can tell you 100% it has grown so much. I don't feel like I shed a lot of hair either, which is really important for me because I have such fine hair. I cannot have hair loss, okay? Fine hair on top of hair loss, I'm just gonna have like 2 strands of hair basically. So if you want hair that's just like super flowy and luscious, you just have to wash it more. Along with hydrating products, you also want to make sure you're finding good moisturizing products for your hair. I love using a hair mask 1 to 2 times a week. That is all you need. Please do not use it more often. You will give your hair like protein overload and it'll start to get really brittle and break off. That's when you get a lot of shedding as well. So I use a hair mask, like I said, 1 to 2 times a week. And what I like to do is get in the shower, wash my body, and let the steam get into my hair and sort of essentially like open up the follicles, loosen them up a little bit, because the thing about low porosity hair is that the follicles are like super tight, which is why products tend to sit right on top and it's really difficult for products to penetrate into your hair. So the steam from a hot or warm shower kind of opens up those follicles and lets the hair mask penetrate a little bit deeper. I know this is kind of a stupid visual representation, but you kind of get the point, I hope. So again, moisturizing your hair is super key. Your hair won't look as brittle, it won't look as dry, and because we have really fine hair that tends to just break off really easily, you want to make sure your hair strands and follicles are super strong, moisturized, and just overall well nourished. Rule number 5, have good overall care for your hair. The constant heat styling, the constant bleaching of your hair is not going to do your hair any good, especially if you have low porosity or fine hair. Bleach is just straight up like poison for our hair. Stay away from the bleach. Trust me, you want to stay away from the very high constant heat styling because our hair is just too delicate for it. It will break off. You will start to see breakage. You will start to see less hair. And trust me, once you bleach your hair, there is no fixing it. That is one thing I've learned. When you bleach your hair, you essentially have to let it all grow out again and just cut it little by little until you finally reach like root new healthy hair. So if you want long healthy hair, okay, that doesn't break off, that's not super delicate, bleaching it, you're not gonna achieve that by bleaching it. So definitely stay away from the bleach and the constant heat styling. Of course, I like to do a blowout. Okay, I have my hair literally blown out right now, but make sure you're using a heat protectant. A heat protectant is gonna change the game. Once you incorporate a good heat protectant into your hair routine, you can apply the heat, you can do the blowout once or twice a week and not have so much damage. Also, make sure you're getting your regular trims. Again, because we have fine hair, it's definitely just way more delicate in general. So those split ends are just gonna split all the way to the top and you're gonna see a lot of breakage and you're gonna feel like your ends are just like way thinner than the rest of your hair, and that's because of breakage. So make sure you're getting your regular trims every 3 to 5 months. I honestly go for 6 months. Alright guys, that was the general gist of the 5 rules. I have gotten so many DMs, I'm not exaggerating, so many DMs of people being like, I followed your routines, I followed your product recommendations, I followed this from your YouTube or your TikTok, and my hair has never looked better. I'm like, I am so glad that my years of like misery has paid off, and at least it's helping y'all, because it literally took me forever to figure out my hair. And I used to struggle so much. I hated my hair. I don't want any young girl or young woman watching this video to feel the same way about their hair that I did for so many years. I know we weren't blessed again with thick, luscious, long hair, but we can work with it. Anyways, guys, let's get into the routines. I'm gonna teach you how I style my hair for a wavy natural day, and also when I want to just do a blowout, or maybe I want to curl it with a curling iron, or maybe I want to straighten it. Either way, I'm gonna teach you how to do both of those routines for, again, wavy, low porosity, and fine hair. All right, first thing you want to do after getting out of the shower and your hair is soaking wet is you want to make sure you're wrapping it up in a microfiber towel. You can also just use a t-shirt. Just make sure you're not using a regular towel, because that can be a little too harsh for your hair. You can have some breakage and it's a little too heavy, and it's essentially going to just be ripping your hair out from the roots. So make sure you're using a microfiber towel. It reduces breakage and it also minimizes the frizz in your hair. I leave it in my hair for 5 to 10 minutes, and then I go in with the detangler first to make sure I'm avoiding breakage when combing my hair. I love this one by Redken because it has so many benefits, such as heat protectant, which means it's also really good at multitasking, which means I can use less products and get the job done with just one, like I mentioned before. I carefully comb out my hair, making sure to start from the bottom and work my way to the top. Make sure you are not brushing your hair or combing your hair when it is dry. I know that's a very obvious tip, but I didn't know that when I was younger, so I would be constantly brushing my hair during the day, trying to tame it, when really I should have not been letting a brush touch my hair. I wish somebody would have told me that. Now it's time for the leave-in conditioner. I like to use a super lightweight conditioner, like I mentioned before. If you can spray it from a nozzle or drips from your hands, it usually means it's lightweight and hydrating, which is good for us finer and low porosity girls. This one by Fable and Mane has been my current go-to, but as I mentioned before, I'll leave some other suggestions in the description as well. Make sure you're really dispersing that evenly into your hair and you're not just applying it in one section of your hair, because then you're gonna get that stringiness that no one likes. We're gonna use a mousse next. I used to be so against mousse because I think it reminded me of the early 2000s crunchy hair, but the key really is finding a good one and knowing how to use it. You don't have to use a ton. This one by Purology is super lightweight, it's hydrating, and it doesn't leave my hair feeling crunchy. You're gonna scrunch it into your wavy or curly hair to give those waves or curls some hold and shape. Now we're gonna go in with a diffuser, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to use this. I'm gonna be using Lifen's SE high-speed hair dryer, which thank you to them. They were so kind to sponsor today's video. It's a known fact that low porosity hair takes a long time to dry because of the way our follicles are structured. Not only is it super time consuming to dry my hair, but I can also get heat damage from other traditional hair dryers. Lifen, however, uses a powerful airflow instead of high heat. As you saw, it can literally blow away any object, which not only dries my hair faster, but it also minimizes the heat damage and it leaves my hair as smooth and as shiny as possible. Like I mentioned, my hair is getting longer, and the longer it gets, the more time consuming it is to blow dry or air dry my hair. Now with the Lifen hair dryer, it did a phenomenal job at blow drying my hair super quickly, but today I am using this diffuser attachment for my waves. This is going to give it some nice shape and hold, especially since I have fine hair that tends to get weighed down super easily. I'm not even done, and look at the difference already. I finish it off with a little bit of gel just to give it some extra hold. This step is very optional. You don't have to add gel to your hair if you don't want to. After the gel, I use a diffuser attachment for 5 more minutes just to really secure that hold and shape, and look at the difference once it's fully dry. The left side is fully air dried with no product or using the diffuser attachment, while the right side, I mean, that just speaks for itself. Look at those waves. Lifen high-speed blow dryer and diffuser attachment is a must for my wavy haired besties. I'm also going to show you how I use it for just a regular blowout heat styling day. And I tell you, this literally only took 8 minutes. 8 minutes for my hair to go from wet to completely dry with the Lifen blow dryer. The hair dryer is so quiet, but you can literally feel the powerful airflow just going through your hair and blow drying it super quickly. It also has 4 temperature modes: red for hot, orange for warm, blue for cold, or purple for hot and cold cycling mode, which I think is super cool because it minimizes heat damage and frizziness. It's also a super lightweight hair dryer, so it didn't tire out my arms, thankfully. This was after only 8 minutes of blow drying my hair. Not only is it fully dry, but it's super smooth as well. Here are the final results. The Lifen hair dryer is here to be your best friend and save the day. Shop the link in my description. There are discounts for up to 25% off right now. You don't want to miss it. Now, at the end of both routines, no matter if you're wearing your hair naturally or you have heat styling going on, I make sure to use some oil for some shine and also to tame my frizziness because I have very, very frizzy hair. I know a lot of us fine and low porosity girls are afraid of the oils, but there's no need to be. Just make sure you're only using 2 to 3 drops. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people think more is better, but truly less is more. So I use 2 to 3 drops. I make sure I distribute it evenly in my fingers or on my hands. For my wavy hair days, I scrunch it into my hair. It also breaks up a little bit of the hold and the crunchiness that the mousse or maybe a gel would have brought. And then for my blowouts, I make sure I distribute it evenly in between my fingers, and then I kind of comb it into my hair, making sure the product is well distributed. And again, it tames frizziness and adds some shine. Alright you guys, that was it for today's video. I really genuinely hope it helped. I wanted to keep this one a little shorter than the other ones I've made in the past because I know some people don't want to sit through a whole 25-30 minute video about hair. But again, I get so many questions almost on the daily about my hair because I've made it very clear that I have low porosity, fine, wavy, frizzy hair. And I get so many questions about it because I know so many of us have the same hair type. It just doesn't get talked about enough. Like all the girls on Pinterest, on YouTube, have like beautiful, luscious, thick Rapunzel hair. And like I wasn't blessed. I was blessed in a different way, thank you God, but I wasn't blessed like that. So I did want to make this video and I will continue making these videos because I know it helps so many people. And like I said, I'm glad my years of misery led up to this and now I can help you guys. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any hair care questions for low porosity, wavy, fine, frizzy hair, that is a mouthful, let me know in the comments. Again, I will link all the products that I like to use in the description below. Shop around, buy your favorites. You saw my favorites in this video. But I hope they work for you and I'm wishing everyone a good hair day. Thanks for watching.